In 1979, Sue Sharp, fleeing an abusive marriage to James Sharp, relocated her 5 children, Sheila, Tina, Rick, and Greg, from Connecticut to Northern California. They initially lived in a small trailer in Quincy, owned by Sue's brother Don Davis, before moving into Cabin 28 at the Keddie Resort in November 1980. Keddie, once a bustling railroad and resort town, had fallen into decline, becoming a low-income housing area. Cabin 28, previously occupied by the local sheriff, offered more space for the family. Sue worked part-time at the Quincy Elks Lodge and took typing classes to support her children, while the family integrated into the tight-knit community. On April 11th, Sheila spent the night at the neighboring Seabolt family's Cabin 27 for a sleepover. Sue, Tina, Rick, and Greg were at home, joined by their neighbor, 12-year-old Justin Smartt, who was spending the night with Rick and Greg. John and his friend Dana Wingate, a 17-year-old from Quincy, attended a party in town and hitchhiked back to Keddie sometime between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Tina briefly visited the Seabolt's cabin to watch TV, but returned home around 9:30 p.m. around 7:45 a.m. on April 12th. Sheila returned to Cabin 28 to retrieve clothes for church and discovered a horrific scene in the living room. Her mother, Sue, brother John, and Dana Wingate lay dead, covered in blood, bound with medical tape and electrical cords. Sue was nude from the waist down, with multiple stab wounds to her chest and neck, defensive wounds on her arms, and blunt force trauma to her head. John's throat was slashed, and his head was bludgeoned with a hammer. Dana had been manually strangled and struck repeatedly in the head with a hammer. Sheila fled back to the Seabolts, screaming for help. Jamie Seabolt, her neighbor, looked through a bedroom window of Cabin 28 and saw Rick, Greg, and Justin unharmed in a back bedroom. He helped the boys escape through the window to spare them the gruesome sight. Authorities were alerted at 8:05 a.m. by Jan Elbin, owner of the Keddie Resort, who reported a possible homicide. Deputy Hank Clement arrived first, confirming the deaths of Sue, John, and Dana. Investigators soon realized Tina was missing, sparking fears of abduction. The crime scene yielded several weapons: a blooded steak knife and butcher knife from the cabin's kitchen, a claw hammer, and part of a Daisy 880 pellet. Gun sights believed to have been used to batter the victims. An unidentified fingerprint was found on a handrail at the back stairs, and the cabin's telephone was off the hook, with lights off and drapes closed, suggesting a controlled scene. Despite the brutality, there was no sign of forced entry, and neighbors, including the Seabolts just 15 feet away, reported hearing only muffled screams around 1:30 a.m.